I'm going to read from The Quiet Mind, the saying of White Eagle. Let love rule. There is nothing to fear except fear. Fear is man's enemy and the last to be overthrown. Have no fear, resign all to the wisdom and the love embodied in divine law. Do your best, be true and sincere and loving in your human relationships. Let love rule your heart and life. Jesus said, "Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself." This does not mean selfishness. It means kindliness to yourself because you are God's child. Do not give yourself more attention than you need, but take care of yourself and do not continually slay the God within you. Give opportunities in your daily life for the Christ within to manifest itself. This is what we mean by loving yourself, and this is what Jesus meant when he said, "Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself." Love peace of mind, love doing the right thing, love living according to divine law. To forgive is often difficult, my children, but with forgiveness, release comes to the spirit. The soul that has been in bondage and perhaps stretched upon the cross of suffering no longer suffers. In the degree that you respond to love and beauty, so you are increasing beauty on earth, and by that same token decreasing that which lies on the other side of the scale, the darkness and ignorance and bitterness and selfishness of humanity. And how, you ask, are we to walk the spiritual path? Say little, love much, give all, judge no man, aspire to all that is pure and good, and keep on keeping on. Thank you.
Today are the mini readings, and we'd like to say again that these readings are for all of us, and because we're all connected, even those of us who are viewing it through Ustream. And though human beings are guided by the stars, in many cultures, the stars symbolize gods. I know in the Huna, Lono comes from the stars and the different constellation systems. And so in astrology, we're not only guided by our personality, divine purpose, our path, but if we understand how we are spirit and how spirit, everything is spirit. Without spirit, nothing would vibrate. Nothing would live, nothing would animate, nothing would exist. As spirit starts to vibrate at a slower rate, it becomes the Akashic record, which is so thin and fine and elegant, or God's book of remembrance. And our souls vibrate on the plane of soul. So how does its spirit vibrating at a slower rate so that the soul, the body of the soul, is created? And from the body of the soul, this physical body is created as spirit and soul vibrate at a slower rate. Spirit vibrates so fast that it seems like it's standing still. Why are we sharing this with you before these billets? When we start to have the true realization that we are spirit, that we were created in the mind of God, that this great mind of God is limitless. It has no beginning and no end. That's why we have no beginning. Spirit has no beginning and no end. Everything that is created can die. Everything that is born will have a transition and be dismantled. Therefore, since we have no beginning, spirit has no beginning and no end, we are everything. That great battle in heaven, when Satan was, or Lucifer was thrown out of heaven and became denser and denser into the Satan and the devil, that trinity, that Luciferic energy cannot get any power direct from the Godhead. Everything it gets is from us, because we are co-creators. We are everlasting. Plus, this Luciferic energy that was thrown out of heaven is part of us, because we're part of all this activity, this drama that was created, this movement. So this fear of being separated from God, this great fear of death, seems so real. Just as we shared with you, war started in heaven between Archangel Michael and the Luciferic energy and the angels and that which thought it was greater than God. Nothing can be greater than the Creator. So this fear of being thrown out, of being cast out, of being abandoned is very, very ancient. And it was created so it can be dismantled and turned around. And even the Satan was created from this Luciferic energy, and this Luciferic energy was created by this illusion of a great angel. So everything that was created will return to its source. Even the so-called devil. The story of the prodigal son is just not on a physical level or on a soul level. It is the whole story of creation. And when a human soul realizes the vastness. But this vastness cannot be realized by the finite mind. The finite mind cannot realize the infinite. Everything must vibrate at the same rate to get access to one another. And in the reality, there is only one. Everything stepped down, transforming in energy and light. So fear is not always a bad thing. It can be used in a positive way. That's why fear our Father God. For that, fear not lest it comes upon you. For that fear that was so instantaneous when Satan was thrown down upon this planet is what will, that fear of God, that love of God, that love for God, is what takes us home. This is why, in this great realization, in the infinite mind, even being a drop in the infinite mind, this universal consciousness breaks any limitations or holds that the stars have upon us. This is why these great saints and holy beings are men and women for all seasons. They work under all the stars and work with all the angels in God's hierarchy. And in this great freedom, they are so bound. We are so bound to God, so bound to humanity by love. This comes back to the readings. Why? It's all of us, even an individual reading. Take care of your throat. Your inner peace is being disturbed. As we shared with you, I believe a couple weeks ago, we have 3 throats. In Qigong, we learned there are 3 necks, so to speak, that we need to always keep warm. And singers know this, because the 3 throats are very important in singing, as well as any musician, and rhythm and vibration. And it's our actual, what we see as our throat, our neck, our wrists, and our ankles. So it's important we keep them warm. And so it's important this soul keeps those areas warm. And and exercise, go out in nature, walk in nature, and really commune with nature. This is all at the, we see that will help the healing of the neck and shoulders. There's stiffness in the neck and shoulders. There's something going on in your neck. Besides this physical, there's a lot for you to do, but there's so many things that interfere with your divine purpose. It looks like you have the best of intentions, and as we know, the intention, the road to hell is paved by good intentions, and that means we intend to do it, but we don't do it. And this can be on a positive and negative. This may sound a little bit convoluted and, opposing one another. But what you need to do may not be what you think you need to do. So there's a lot of battling going on within. So not to let the everyday world or what your mind, you have a fine mind, think, what you need to do, but allow yourself to go within and truly relax, and that impulse, what you need to do, or will come, and it may not be what you think you need to do. Okay. Jim Love. I hope all of that made sense to you.
It does.
Really keep your throat, wrists, take care of your wrists and your ankles. Keep them warm and something. But
Okay. Makes sense.
watch that thinking mind. Don't think too much. Leave that to the woman to do the thinking. I'm joking you. There's a very gentle and sweet energy here. And it's really, the message is don't let the world take advantage of you. From the outside, there is you are strong. There's a strength and toughness. But you allow the world to dictate the way, the mass mind, the mass consciousness, dictate a lot of your actions and, what you need to do and all of that. Again, it's similar to Jim's in the way that you need to really go within. Stop the world, from pushing you around, so to speak. You have the inner strength. There is inner beauty, and all of this going for you. But for it all to start coming out, you need the confidence to, when you're within the confidence that let God doing it for you, and as well as you taking action and not letting the world say, the mind of the world, speaking like God or speaking to you and dictating. The difference between God's voice and the voice of the world is a sense of great peace when God speaks. And it's just beyond words. It's a thatness, a sense of peace. Sometimes there's an urgency. I mean, when Jesus, there was urgency within, but a great peace in that urgency. That's why he's the Prince of Peace. And there wasn't a conflict in that sense, fighting within. It was just that love, that peace, and the Father and I are one. The world can speak very similarly, but it's not peaceful. Sometimes there's an agitation, or it's just different but the same. But so it's being wise enough to know who is speaking, what is speaking to you. And don't let the world push you around. Quest. Okay. I hope that.
I think this will be a lifelong one. I like this one though.
Okay.
Yes.
But there's a very gentle, sweet energy.
I mean.
Okay. The first thing we heard, too much in mind. So, to get to the heart area is important to that you are centered enough and not, and I know you're working hard in the not in the in realizing that supposed to be, ought to be, should be, and all of that is not the reality, is not what is or thatness. But somehow this mind is caught up in the supposed to be, should be, ought to be. So there's more and more going on. And this isn't bad that it's coming to the surface, that there's more going on in that area, that you're working on in that area, and the self-acceptance and the acceptance of everything around you and those around you, and realizing how, this love for God and of God, and it is just carrying you through the darkness or the hills and the valleys. Much to do, but in 2 years we see a real step, a step, in a dimensional step, but it's through the annihilation of the ego. If the annihilation of the ego doesn't happen, or there's too much of ego going on, of the little ego, then the inner struggles will be in 2 years very strong, very strong. You will meet all the things, start to meet in 2 years. all the things that are holding you up. So now is your breathing point. You might say, what? It doesn't seem like a breathing point, but there's a lot of work to do in this world. Dogen with a star. Okay. So lots going on. You've got lots to do. So the world might be a little, not world, but karma, cash karma, like Edgar Cayce says, coming quickly to work through. I know everyone thinks, oh my gosh, I need a breather. This is your breather. We laugh. Yeah, and the Dogen, if you didn't know, that's Joseph's dog's name, and it means source of the way. So he'll teach you a lot. Okay. The first thing we heard was seeking joy. And the seeking happiness, or seeking, seek and you shall find. But it isn't where you think it is. It's really accepting who you are wholeheartedly. Somehow you have this mindset that to be a person of God, have to do great things or do this or that. It's just in the action. God loves us so much. The action also is within, and in our thoughts and in our words and in our vibration. So don't be so hard on yourself. Stop, really smell the roses and really appreciate who you are, and love who you are, and know that you've been given a lot, as much as all of us, every one of us has been given a lot. And there's, sometimes we're so into this mindset that have to do this, we have to do that, or this and that, to be this and that we end up not doing very much, because the opposite comes and pushes against us. And there'll be a lot of things taking us away from what we need to do. So relax, go within, love who you are, the great beauty that surrounds every human soul is you, is them, all of us. And yeah, and God's will is being done. A happy face, yes. Yeah, I hope it makes sense.
Yeah, I think so.
Because, great beauty. Yeah. And, yeah. That one I knew. Most I don't know, because to appreciate. Other people appreciate you.
Hope so.
Oh, they do. You need to appreciate who you are. Okay. Uh, Similar to the last one, to appreciate who you are. But there's a sadness that you need to let go of. To let it, so drink lots of water. Something about the healing of the emotional body is a process. So just be patient, and you know, don't tell God what to do. Just be patient and trust, have faith that God is working in you, through you. And because the most work is being done on the unseen side, is what is being said. And it's not just in you, but everywhere. And so before it can manifest, before we all can see it. So patience is the key right now for you, and appreciating who you are, and letting that sadness dissolve, you know, and be purified. So drink water, take time, you too, to be like everyone else, be in nature, learn from nature, learn about your true nature, and that your true nature is just so beautiful and lovely, and to really appreciate that. Light. Okay. All right. You're welcome. All right, thank you. Please prepare yourselves for deep level meditation.